Welcome to a place where forgotten civilizations whisper you to sleep, where dreams become doorways. Tonight, we explore one of the most mysterious powers ever known to humankind, the ability to realize that you are dreaming and to shape that dream with your own will. Sleep History Archives. Wake up inside a dream. This isn't a modern discovery. It's an art older than pyramids, a bridge between sleep and the divine. And long before science gave it a name, the ancients practiced it as a form of sacred consciousness. Before we step into those temples of the mind, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Let your body sink deeper into the bed beneath you. Feel your shoulders drop, your jaw unclench. This is your time to rest, your time to drift. If you enjoy this quiet space where history and sleep intertwine, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can return here night after night to dream again. Now gently close your eyes. Notice the darkness behind your eyelids. That's where every dream begins. Imagine you are lying beneath a sky of ancient stars. The constellations shimmer above a golden desert. You feel the cool night air brushing across your skin. Every breath draws you deeper into the silence of time. You start to sense something familiar, a quiet awareness growing inside your mind. You're not just watching the dream, you are shaping it. This is lucid dreaming. It's the art of awareness within the dream. The moment you realize, I'm still me, even here, that realization can change everything. Fear fades, freedom begins. For ancient people, this wasn't just an accident of sleep. It was a holy practice, a bridge between the human and the divine. Priests of Egypt, philosophers of Greece, monks of Tibet, all entered their dreams deliberately. They believed the night held answers that daylight could never give. So as you listen tonight, let your breath guide you, in and out, slowly, gently, endlessly. Each breath draws you closer to their world, where the walls between waking and dreaming begin to fade. Imagine the desert winds soft against your skin. You're standing before a temple of sandstone and moonlight. Carvings of gods and stars shimmer faintly on the walls. A doorway opens ahead, inviting you inward. Step through. You hear the echo of your own heartbeat, slow, steady, ancient. You are not in the present anymore. You're standing where dreamers once trained their minds to see beyond illusion. They believed that within each dream, a soul could meet its teacher, a god, a spirit, a forgotten part of itself. And as your body rests, your mind begins to wander there too. So let go of the day, let go of the need to stay awake. Let history carry you through sand and stars to the very beginning of lucid dreaming. Our journey begins in ancient Egypt. The dreamer of the temple. The desert waits in silence, a horizon of endless gold and wind. Far in the distance, a temple rises from the sand, glowing beneath the soft blue of midnight. You walk alone toward it. Each step feels older than time itself. The stars above shimmer like 1,000 eyes, watching quietly, as if they've seen this moment many times before. You've come seeking something, though you can't quite say what. Maybe it's peace, maybe it's understanding, or maybe it's the answer to a question you no longer remember. The air hums gently around you. The sand beneath your feet feels warm, almost alive. It's as if the earth itself recognizes you, welcoming you back to a place you once knew long ago. The gates of the temple stand open. Two massive statues guard the entrance, Horus, the falcon-headed god, and Thoth, the keeper of wisdom. His ibis face, calm and timeless. Between them burns a single flame that does not flicker. As you step closer, it glows brighter. You feel the faint rhythm of your heartbeat syncing with it, slow, steady, ancient. And then, without a sound, you cross the threshold. Inside, the light changes. The world outside fades away. Only soft amber fire remains, reflecting on walls carved with stories older than memory. You trace your fingers along the hieroglyphs. They feel warm to the touch. Lines and curves that seem to pulse with meaning, as if the stone is alive. Every symbol feels familiar, like fragments of a language you once spoke in another lifetime. A priest approaches, wrapped in linen white, carrying a small bowl of water from the Nile. He looks at you, not with curiosity, but recognition. "You have walked a long way," he says. His voice is deep and slow, like wind moving through hollow stone. This is the house of sleep and truth. Here, the body rests, but the soul must stay awake. He dips his fingers into the bowl and touches your forehead. The water feels cool. Instantly, your mind begins to quiet. The endless noise of thought softens into a gentle hum. You follow him through corridors that spiral downward. The air grows cooler, denser. You hear the low chant of voices echoing from unseen chambers. It's not a song, but a vibration, a sound that seems to come from the walls themselves. As you descend deeper, it vibrates through your chest. You realize it's not outside of you. It's coming from within. The priest stops at a doorway made of polished obsidian. He turns to you and whispers, "To dream is to see without eyes. Do not be afraid of the dark. It is only your own reflection." Then he opens the door and gestures for you to enter. The chamber beyond is small, round, and silent. A single oil lamp flickers in the corner. In the center lies a stone bed carved with lotus petals. The air smells of cedar, honey, and desert wind. The priest places a small crystal beside your head and whispers a final blessing to the gods of the dream. Isis for protection, Serapis for healing, Thoth for vision. Then he leaves, and the door closes behind you. Darkness folds over the room like velvet. You lie down. The stone feels cool at first, but slowly it begins to warm beneath your skin. Your breath deepens. Your thoughts drift like clouds. The line between waking and sleep blurs. And then, softly, the world begins to shift. You are no longer lying on a bed. You're floating. Your body feels weightless, suspended in golden light. You look down and see the temple beneath you, glowing like a living heart in the middle of the desert. The night sky expands infinitely above. You sense the presence of beings, tall, luminous, watching gently, without judgment. One of them steps forward. Her face is hidden by light, but her eyes are stars. She doesn't speak. Instead, her thoughts move through you like wind through silk. "You are dreaming," she says, "but you are awake. Remember this feeling. It is the true temple." Her hand touches your chest. For a moment, you see everything. The river of the Nile flowing through time. The lives you've lived and forgotten. The countless nights you've dreamed and awoken. All merging into one endless now. Then, just as suddenly, you find yourself standing in a vast hall. The walls shimmer like water. Columns rise so high they disappear into mist. At the center stands a golden throne, but no one sits upon it. Instead, there's a mirror. When you look into it, you don't see your reflection. You see yourself dreaming, lying on the bed, breathing slowly, surrounded by light, and yet you are also the watcher, both dreamer and dream. The realization ripples through you like a wave. You understand why the ancients built these temples. They were not monuments of stone, they were mirrors of the soul. Each chamber, each ritual, each prayer, designed to lead the seeker back to the self that never sleeps. Lucid dreaming here was not escape, it was remembrance. The remembrance that consciousness does not end with the closing of the eyes. You turn from the mirror and notice a doorway behind the throne. Golden light pours through it. As you step closer, you realize the door is made entirely of hieroglyphs. Symbols shifting slowly like living creatures. They rearrange themselves as you approach, forming a sentence. It says, "To awaken is not to rise from sleep, but to know you were dreaming all along." The doorway opens. Beyond it lies the open desert, but transformed. The dunes shimmer like liquid glass. The stars swirl in slow motion above. The moon hangs impossibly large, glowing with violet light. You step forward, barefoot. Each step leaves ripples of gold that fade into nothing. You feel no fear, no separation. You are part of everything, the sand, the stars, the silence. As you walk, you begin to remember faces, people you once were, places you once lived, dreams you once had. They pass through your mind like reflections on water. You realize the temple is not behind you anymore. It is within you, unfolding endlessly, like the chambers of the heart. Each dream is a room, each thought a doorway, each breath a prayer. You kneel in the sand, watching the horizon pulse with light. A presence moves beside you, tall, radiant, ageless. He carries a staff carved with symbols that glow like constellations. You know, without words, that this is Thoth, the keeper of knowledge, the scribe of the gods. He speaks, his voice both thunder and whisper. You are learning what we all once forgot. The dream is not illusion, it is creation. The dreamer and the world are the same. He points toward the horizon. There, you see countless lights rising from the desert, souls entering their own dreams, each carrying a spark of awareness. They look like stars being born. Thoth smiles faintly. When you dream lucidly, he says, you remember your role in the great story. You stop running from your own reflection. You return to being the author of your universe. The desert wind swirls around you, gentle as a breath. And then Thoth fades. The stars dim. The dream softens again. You awaken, still inside the temple, the first light of dawn spilling through a narrow window. The priest stands silently at your side, holding a cup of Nile water. He offers it to you, and you drink. It tastes pure and cold, like clarity. He asks softly, "Did you meet them?" You nod. He smiles. Then you have learned. The gods do not live in the sky. They live in the space between waking and sleep. He guides you outside. The desert air is fresh and golden. The temple casts a long shadow behind you, but you know now that its walls are eternal, built not from stone, but from awareness. You understand that every time you close your eyes, you return to it. Every dream, every breath is another journey home. And as you stand beneath the rising sun, you realize something simple and profound. Lucid dreaming was never meant to make you powerful. It was meant to make you whole. It was the art of remembering your true nature, the stillness beneath the waves, the witness behind all experience. The same consciousness that once walked these deserts now dreams through you. The wind moves gently across the dunes, carrying the scent of lotus and earth. Somewhere, a temple bell rings once, low and resonant. You feel the vibration run through your chest, and as the sound fades into the morning light, you know that you are still dreaming. You always were. You always will be. The Greek Dream Philosophers. The desert sun fades, melting into the horizon like a pool of gold. The wind slows. The temple behind you dissolves into mist. And somewhere in the silence, you begin to hear the distant rhythm of waves. The scent of salt replaces the dry breath of sand. A seagull cries overhead, faint but sharp, cutting through the soft hum of dawn. When you open your eyes, the world has changed. You stand at the edge of the Aegean Sea. White marble cliffs rise behind you, carved into terraces where olive trees bend gently in the breeze. A city sleeps on the hill, its roofs gleaming faintly under a violet sky. Athens. 1,000 years have passed, yet the dream has simply shifted form. You are still within it, carried forward through time by something greater than memory. The philosophers of Greece also knew of lucid dreams. To them, the dream was not divine command, but a mirror of reason itself, a landscape where thought and imagination met as equals. Aristotle once wrote that the dreamer may know they are dreaming, and that such awareness reveals the nature of perception. Plato believed that the soul, when freed from the senses, returns to its pure state, a thinker unchained, seeing truth directly. They did not pray to the gods for dreams. They studied them, dissected them, lived inside them. For the Greeks, to dream consciously was to understand the mind itself. You walk through the city at dawn. Columns rise around you like the ribs of sleeping giants. The streets smell of sea and stone. Philosophers in white robes gather at the steps of the temple, their voices calm and low. One of them turns and greets you. His eyes are pale and clear, as though he has spent his life looking inward. He invites you to walk with him along the colonnade. He speaks without hurry. "Tell me, traveler from the desert," he says, "what did the Egyptians teach you about dreams?" You answer softly. "They said dreams are messages from the gods." He nods. "And did they tell you who writes those messages?" You hesitate. He smiles faintly. "It is you," he says. The dreamer writes the message, and then forgets it was his own hand that moved the pen. You both pause to watch the morning light spill across the marble floor. He continues, "We live within two worlds, the one our body walks and the one our mind creates. Most men believe the first is real and the second illusion. The wise man knows they are reflections. Lucid dreaming is the art of seeing both at once." As you walk, he tells you of Asclepius, the Greek god of healing. In his temples, the sick came to sleep, just as in Egypt. They too practiced incubation. They lay on skins of sacred serpents and waited for the god to visit them in dreams. When dawn arrived, they awoke cured or enlightened. The serpents symbolized transformation, the shedding of old identity, the birth of the new. The temples of Asclepius were called Asclepians, and they dotted the land from Epidaurus to Kos, glowing at night like constellations of healing. Dreams, it seemed, were not just visions, they were medicine. The philosopher gestures toward the sea. The soul, he says, is like a swimmer between two shores, life and death, waking and dream. Most drown in the waves, never realizing the water itself is light. His words echo softly in your mind. The air around you thickens. The city fades to mist. You find yourself standing at the steps of an ancient theater overlooking the ocean. The seats are empty, yet the space hums with invisible presence. You sense countless voices, philosophers, poets, dreamers, watching quietly from beyond time. In the center of the stage stands a single figure, a woman draped in white, holding a golden mask. Her voice drifts through the air like a melody. "Every dream you have ever lived," she says, "was a play written by your soul. In each one, you played every role, the hero, the villain, the god, the child. Lucidity is remembering that the stage is yours." She lifts the mask toward you. It reflects your own face, but it's shifting. Your childhood smile, your oldest pain, your calmest breath. Then she lets it fall. The mask breaks softly, scattering like petals. The theater dissolves. You are surrounded again by sea and sky, infinite blue merging into itself. The sound of waves becomes the rhythm of your breath. For a long time, there is nothing, only the calm recognition that you are both audience and actor, observer and dream. Somewhere in the distance, the philosopher's voice returns. Dream consciously, and you will see. The mind builds worlds every night, but the soul builds eternity. His words fade, carried away by the wind. The sky begins to shift again. Clouds form shapes, eyes, wings, spirals. You feel yourself rising, floating above the land. Below you, the temples of Egypt and Greece appear side by side. Their lights connected by a golden thread stretching across centuries. You realize they were never separate. They are one great classroom of the human spirit, teaching the same lesson in different languages. That reality is not fixed, and the dream is not false. Both are expressions of the same divine consciousness, yours. As you drift higher, the world turns slow and quiet. The ocean fades into mist. The air grows lighter, thinner. You are floating once more between stars. Their light pulses softly in rhythm with your heartbeat. You think of the Egyptians who slept in their temples, of the Greeks who sought truth in thought, and of yourself, still dreaming, still listening. You understand now what they all meant. To awaken does not mean to leave the dream, but to recognize you were dreaming all along. Every philosopher, every priest, every seeker, they were all walking the same invisible road, leading here to this moment of awareness, the timeless center where dream and reality become one. You exhale slowly. Your body softens, heavy and warm. The voices fade, replaced by a single note of silence. It feels endless. It feels like home. The stars dissolve into soft golden light. It wraps around you gently, like a blanket. The journey continues inward now, beyond Egypt, beyond Greece, beyond the mind itself. Somewhere deep inside, the final temple awaits. The Temple of Sleep. Its walls are not built of stone or thought. They are made of stillness. You step through its invisible doors. Everything becomes quiet. The story, the world, the self, all dissolve into peace. You lie down in that silence, surrounded by the hum of the universe. There is no need to awaken anymore. You already have. And as your breath merges with the rhythm of eternity, you drift into the deepest sleep you have ever known. The Tibetan Dream Yoga. The light shifts again. Golden marble turns pale blue. The air cools, sharp and thin. When you open your eyes, the desert and the sea are gone. In their place rise the snow-crowned peaks of the Himalayas. Vast, silent, eternal. The wind carries a soft, ringing hum, like distant chanting woven into the air itself. Prayer flags ripple in slow motion. Each color breathes its own vibration. Blue for space, white for air, red for fire, green for water, yellow for earth. All 5 elements dancing in the same wind that touches your skin. You walk upward along a narrow path carved into stone. The air grows thin but clear, every breath like glass and light. A monastery appears at the top of the ridge, carved directly into the mountain. Its golden roof catches the sun, like fire against the snow. At the gate stands a monk dressed in crimson and saffron. His face is weathered, eyes bright as dawn. He greets you with a smile that feels like recognition. You have come far, he says gently. Now, it is time to go within. He leads you through silent halls lined with spinning prayer wheels. Their movement hums softly, a low vibration that seems to match your heartbeat. Each rotation releases a prayer into the sky, invisible but felt. The monk gestures for you to sit upon a woven mat. He places a small butter lamp before you. The flame is steady, almost motionless. He says, "Watch the flame and listen to your breath. When the flame flickers, you will know the dream has begun." You sit. The air feels alive. The sound of chanting rises in the distance, the rhythm of hundreds of monks reciting ancient syllables that vibrate in the bones. The words have no meaning in the ordinary sense, but you feel them inside your chest. Om. The vibration clears your mind like wind sweeping snow from a path. You watch the flame. It begins to waver, and slowly the walls around you dissolve. You find yourself floating above a vast mountain valley under starlight. A silver river cuts through the dark earth below, winding like a serpent of light. The stars shimmer brighter, closer. You can almost hear them singing. A soft voice echoes inside your mind, the voice of the monk, yet also your own. In waking life, you believe the world to be real and the dream to be illusion. In dream yoga, you see both as the same. You look around. The valley, the stars, your body. All of it begins to shimmer like light on water. Nothing feels solid, yet everything feels true. You reach out, and your hand passes through the air like smoke. But the feeling that touches you is peace, vast and luminous. You are no longer separate from the dream. You are the dream. The monk's voice returns. In Tibet, we say that life is the great dream, and death is the great awakening. But there is a way to wake before you die. Through awareness inside the dream. You drift gently downward, landing on a plateau of ice and cloud. Around you, luminous monks sit cross-legged in a circle. Their bodies glow faintly with golden light, and each breath they take creates ripples in the air. One raises his hand and gestures for you to sit among them. You close your eyes. The silence feels infinite. Then you hear him speak, not with words, but with thought. To master the dream is to master the mind. To master the mind is to see the truth of all things. You begin to breathe with them, slow and rhythmic. Inhale, and the world expands. Exhale, and the world dissolves. With each breath, you feel yourself becoming lighter, more transparent, until you are only awareness. No body, no border, just pure seeing. The monk's voice rises once more, soft as wind. When you realize the dream's nature, you realize life's nature. Both are the same infinite sky. Clouds appear, drift, and vanish, but the sky remains. Images appear in the space around you. A flower blooming in fire, a child laughing in starlight, a mountain turning into a wave, a face that is both yours and everyone's. Each vision glows for a moment, then melts into emptiness. You begin to understand the teaching, not through thought, but through silence. This is Milam, the Tibetan art of dream yoga. It is not about control, but awakening. Not about shaping the dream, but recognizing its light. The scene changes again. You find yourself standing inside a vast mirror made of water. Your reflection looks back at you, not tired or human, but luminous. It smiles. Then it walks forward and merges with you. For a moment, you feel the entire universe inhale. You are inside it. You are it. The boundaries between self and world dissolve completely. Everything, light, sound, memory, love, exists in one boundless awareness. It is neither waking nor dreaming. It is pure being. The monk's voice returns one last time. This is the sleep that does not end, the awareness that never fades. You have come to the center of the dream, where there is no difference between you and the sky. Rest here, traveler. Rest as the light that knows itself. The mountains fade into soft gold. The chanting becomes a heartbeat. The flame from the butter lamp appears again, small but steady. You are back in the monastery, sitting quietly, the dawn light brushing the floor. The monk smiles at you once more. He asks, "Did you find what you were looking for?" You answer without words. He nods slowly, as if he already knows. Then he says, "You are ready to dream with open eyes." He turns the lamp down. The light dims to amber. Outside, the wind sighs through the valley. The sound becomes your breath. And as you close your eyes, the mountains drift away like clouds. You feel yourself floating again, wrapped in warmth, wrapped in stillness. Every sound, every thought, every trace of the world dissolves into silence. The journey ends where it began, in the quiet heart of sleep. And within that stillness, the voice whispers, one final time. You are home now. Sleep well, dream deeply, awaken fully.